The flaws and mistakes in the psychotic construction are, however, necessary for the SBM, symbolic brain me, to be able to undergo the most unrealistic unreality necessary to turn the attention away from the anxiety that is physically as real as possible. In addition, the anxiety is such a difficult opponent because there is no flaw in it that would allow to discredit it easily. The only effective strategy to counter the anxiety must therefore be to shift the SBM, symbolic brain me, beyond the dimension of the anxiety. Such a move beyond the dimension of the anxiety is by entering the symbolic dimension. The brain enters this symbolic dimension thanks to the symbolic exchange with the environment. And this exchange will be possible only as long as it's not constrained by the most real of the sensations, which is the anxiety. And one cannot construct symbolic exchange in any other way, but only through unreal and therefore psychotic exchange. Only such a symbolic exchange makes sense in the long run, because this is the way for the symbolic brain me SBM to escape from the reality of anxiety. Of course, the real escape is impossible, but thanks to the psychosis, a symbolic escape is possible. When the psyche becomes more real than the real, the unreal strategy turns out to be an effective tool in the fight against anxiety. Any symbolic exchange in which SBM participates is a psychotic exchange, and all its constructs are manifestations of the psychosis. These constructs are SPM, symbolic psyche, PSPM, parallel symbolic psyche, and SSPM, sleepy symbolic psyche. Psychotic, so unreal, fictional? So what, if you can escape from the anxiety thanks to them? Let's note that SBM, symbolic brain me, that's what is only real in the human psyche, performs an unbelievable operation of its camouflage, its apparent disappearance. This procedure is so effective that your so self-centered SPM, symbolic psyche, does not even think for a second of itself to be an illusion, a psychotic vision lasting only for the time of symbolic exchange. Of course, SPM notices its instability. It does not know where it comes from, but each SPM actually struggles only with this, its volatility, fragility, and instability. Many of us treat this feeling as a sign of a mental disorder because we believe it's abnormal. This is normal. It would be abnormal for the opposite, a phenomenon which is constantly born anew with each symbolic exchange cannot give any feeling of stability or permanence. And the symbolic psyche SPM is just such a phenomenon. At this point, we need to ask an important question. Well, we have proved that the SBM, symbolic brain me, is discretely hidden behind SPM, symbolic psyche, or SSPM, sleepy symbolic psyche, or PSPM, parallel symbolic psyche. But this SBM, symbolic brain me, is somehow real, and the rest are the products of SBM psychosis. The question is then, which me is the one that suffers from the anxiety and other mental disorders described in all psychological textbooks? I think that this question, although important and has to be asked, nevertheless, the answer to it has already been given. Since SPM, SSPM, and PSPM are symptoms of SBM psychosis, so all other mental disorders are also the SBM disorders. This is an obvious conclusion that comes to mind. And what are the consequences to be drawn? I think that one of the most important is that anxiety is a phenomenon that only SBM interacts with. while SPM, SSPM, and PSPM are symbolic entities free from any admixture of anxiety. It's very logical. After all, both the symbolic psyche and the sleepy psyche and the parallel psyche exist to bring the SBM, symbolic brain me, out of the damned world of the anxiety. And this procedure of the nature to lead SBM out of the anxiety house of slavery in which SBM found itself millions of years ago was unexpectedly successful. Psychotic SBM derivatives in the form of SPM, SSPM, and PSPM perfectly fulfill their role of releasing SBM from the anxiety. At the same time, they allow the unique and extremely original phenomena, such as an individual personality and a sense of a separate identity of each human being to exist. SBM alone would not be enough for these phenomena to arise. The ability to think logically or even the ability to react emotionally, emotions are the first pre-rational form of logic because two symbolic, 0-1 logic where everything can be arranged in two pre-logical categories. That is, I like, I don't like, or good, bad, or nice, unpleasant. So the ability to think logically or even the ability to react emotionally are purely mathematical categories, and in this sense, SBM is almost the same as the data processing processors in the simplest computers. However, even computers with unimaginable data processing power will never, I repeat, never be able to possess what is proper to every human being, namely to possess a unique personality and a sense of unique identity or a feeling of identity. Why can it be achieved? Why can it be achieved by the man, and it is and will remain forever beyond the reach of any artificial intelligence? The computer processors cannot undergo psychosis the way the brain does in the sense of SBM. And even if the computer processor underwent some form of psychosis, this psychosis would not have undergone tens of millions of years of evolution from a disorganized form. Oh yes, this form of psychosis would easily be achievable by a computer processor, and we probably witness it more than once per day, to a highly organized form. The organization of psychosis, which is SPM, is a basic occupation of the humanity, not only in the evolutionary sense. The gradual shifting of psychosis from a disorderly form to an increasingly more structured and organized form is the essence of the process of human mental development during childhood. See you soon.